Hello and welcome to AmakhosiTalks. Well guys, on the back of that win against Maritzburg United over the weekend, I really do feel like it's time we had a proper conversation about what the future holds for our team. On today's video, we are going to talk a little about that display we saw over the weekend, and finally we will do a preview of the next match where we are taking on AmaZulu at home. But before getting into all of that, remember to subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and give a big like to this video as it helps the channel to grow and reach more Khosi fans out there. Without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it. It is time to talk AmakhosiTalks. Now, before getting into today's discussion, guys, I think we have to first take a closer look at our position on the log table. And by no surprise, we seem to have cemented our spot inside the top half of the table. The 6 points that we've collected in our last 2 matches have really given us a much needed breathing space. We now find ourselves just 3 points from second placed Stellenbosch and 8 behind the league leaders Mamelodi Sundowns, who are the only 2 teams that remain unbeaten in the league so far. Looking at our position, and with 4 games remaining before we conclude the first half of the season, this is where we would like to be. Well, ideally it would have been much better if we were inside the top 4. But looking at the next 2 rounds of fixtures in the league, almost all of the current top 8 teams will be playing against each other. And that means if we can pick up a win or 2 in our next games, then we might potentially finish the first half of the season inside the top 3. But to achieve that, we have to show convincing performances on the field, which takes us to the discussion that I want us to have today. And that is our current display in any way convincing that we can compete for the league? Now guys, I know that for us as a club, we've come a long way from the mixed season that we had last year. This season, we welcomed a handful of new and familiar faces at the club. From our expectations, we were supposed to witness a new look and new team. However, if displays are to go by what we saw on Sunday against Maritzburg, then perhaps we might still be far off from reality. Now, I understand that it becomes difficult to criticize your team when results are coming in. Before the international break, we beat our rivals Orlando Pirates 2-1, and we've now followed that with a 1-0 win scoreline against Maritzburg. But in all fairness, both wins leave a bitter taste on the tongue. In my opinion, in both matches, we hardly created enough to earn the win. Against Pirates, we capitalized on individual errors that Pirates themselves committed, and against Maritzburg, we scored from a dead ball situation. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the concern is the lack of opportunities that we are creating to win on open play. Now, granted, we are missing some crucial attacking players like Nokovic and Manyama, but at the same time, we still have the likes of Kosimpile Ngcobo and Karian Bakas, who the coach continues to ignore. Now, like I said earlier, we may not be impressed with how the team is performing and with some of the selections that the coach has made in recent games, but he is currently winning matches. Now, leave your comment down below and express your thoughts on the team's performances, and tell me whether or not are you convinced with the team's display going forward. Are we going to make a push for that top 3 finish? Talking about the performances, we are going to need our best performance yet when we face Usuthu on Wednesday evening. Now, you will remember that we have already played against AmaZulu this season, and in that match we managed to play a draw. Certainly, that match will be remembered for a late penalty call that was awarded and eventually converted to level the matters in our favor. Benni McCarthy and the rest of Usuthu felt they were hard done by the referee's decision, which is why this will be an even tougher encounter. AmaZulu are not far behind us as they occupy 8th position on the log, which is just 3 points away from us. They themselves will be looking to pick up maximum points as they also have strong ambitions of finishing high in the league. In the previous game against Maritzburg, we saw the return of Leonardo Castro after a lengthy spell on the sidelines. Coach Stuart Baxter will be happy to have him back into the squad. However, from that brief cameo that we saw of him, it's still going to take some time before he returns to full match sharpness. Now, in terms of how and what we can expect in our lineup, I very much doubt that there will be that many changes, if any. There's been a common trend in Stuart Baxter's lineup throughout, and against a really good team like AmaZulu, I bet he will be even more cautious. In this match, I only anticipate us being more of a threat on those dead ball situations again. I reckon AmaZulu will have most of the ball possession and probably will be the ones to create more chances. Ultimately, this will be a very tight game which will be decided by the smallest of margins. Well guys, remember to share your score prediction and also comment in the community tab, which will be posted up later. To remind you again, in case you've forgotten, the game kicks off at 5:30 in the evening South African local time. Well, that is all I have for you guys. Remember to subscribe if you haven't on the channel, and don't forget to give this video a big like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next upload. Amakhosi alipheli umoya.